It was the first time you played them as you prepared for them this time.
Not much new. I mean, played against the Steelers for a while. They've had the same scheme for a long time, and they haven't changed much. It's a good scheme. It's tough to go against. They got good players who run around and play hard. They're a little banged up from the first time we played them, so they don't have the exact same guys, but it's still a tough group.
Why so hard to get it going in the last game and this past game in Tennessee? Additional points, particularly against Tennessee. What can you do to get going?
I don't think the first half was all that bad in terms of the average 6 yards a carry in the first half running the ball. You scored 10 points. But when you don't do good on third down, it's tough to stay on the field. We didn't do that much better on third down in the second half. However, we had some bigger plays where we were able to avoid third down a little bit more. But that was similar to Pittsburgh too. I felt like we're moving the ball decent, but if you don't make third downs, when you get to third down, you have to punt. And we had too many of those in the first half.
With the success you guys had in the no huddle, in the hurry up second half against Pittsburgh, do you think that's just naturally you'll use it more earlier this week?
That's always a feel thing. I mean, it seems like it's been different every week. We had the only game that we had a lot of success in the no huddle was versus Pittsburgh in the second half. Didn't have much success of it in it versus New Orleans and Baltimore, and then last week versus Tennessee, we averaged 5.8 yards a play in no huddle and 5.8 yards a play in the huddle. So it was actually dead even. So it's a feel thing. It depends on some of the looks you're getting and how you're going on offense. It's something we have an idea on how much we want to do going into a game, but it usually changes just based off the momentum.
You used all three running backs in Tennessee. Was that a matchup thing, or do you see that being the norm from this point forward?
We'd like to give a chance for all three of them to play. We have a pecking order of how we go, and really go off the field through it. Wilbert handles most of that. There's a couple plays in the game that we prefer one guy over the other, but that's only a few plays. Everything else I really don't mind who's in. I think they're all similar. Some guys can have some better attributes than the other, but for the most part, it's however Wilbert rotates them and try to keep them all fresh.
Kyle, your offensive line had another good week. How much trust have you gained in this group, and how much easier does it make your job when they're playing at such a high level?
They've been great so far. Anytime you got talented guys, but you got to be talented to be successful in this league. But what makes them so special is just how smart of football players they are. It's very important to all of them. All of them play like every play is the most important play in the game, and you need that as an O-lineman because you can have a great game and you just take one play off and it could be a sack, fumble, or tackle for loss. And those guys, it means a lot to. They work as hard as anyone I've been around, and the continuity of all five of them staying healthy and stuff has added to our success so far.
Coach Patton called them football nerds. Is that what you've seen out of these guys?
Yeah, they're nerds. They're football nerds. No, I'm showing you. But yeah, they are. I mean, they're into everything. They want to talk about everything. Sometimes they can be exhausting because of that, but they're very conscientious, and I think that's why they've all had pretty successful careers.
Kyle, how much?
Does Joe Thomas set the tone for that group?
I think they all do. I mean, Joe's upbeat. He's funny. He keeps everyone into it because he takes things seriously, but you would never know because he keeps it pretty loose. All the other guys can get a little bit more uptight and stuff also. So I think they all work good together. They all know each other well. I think they're all pretty close, and they play well together too.
Kyle, how have the guards played? I mean, Joel's obviously a rookie, and John's switching from one side to the other in a new scheme.
They've been good. I mean, all five of them have been good. I don't think we've had a weak link on the O-line. They played all good together. And I think the most important thing in our running game is five guys moving together. And in my own history, running the zone scheme and stuff, it's always taken guys time. You can be good individually, but if you can't move in unison with other guys on the line, you struggle. And these guys have picked it up fast. They're doing some things that they haven't done in their career, and it's been really important to them to learn it. A lot of guys who've been around in the league for a while, and they fight you on everything a little bit, and they want to do stuff the way they've done in the past. And these guys have had a lot of success in their career, and to come here and ask them to do new things, and them not to hesitate to really listen and try to do what you're asking and commit to what we're asking them to do. They've been really fun to coach.
When you say it takes time, is this the quickest you've seen any group pick it up?
It has been for me so far. And just with the O-line, you got five good players too, which also helps. But they've picked up the zone scheme very fast, and I think that has to do with whatever you want to say, them being football nerds or whatever it is. It's they're into it. They don't just listen to what you say in the meeting and leave and not think about it again. they really try to understand what you're saying. They don't just do stuff because you ask them to. They really need to see it themselves, see it on tape. They need to feel it. They work on it, and it's been important to them to learn it, and I think that's why they have.
Kyle, sometimes young guys will make the team or they'll look very good in preseason, and then once the season starts, there's a little bit of a fade off at the beginning. What's allowed Gabriel to kind of continue to progress? It seems to be.
I think Gabriel's very talented, but what separates him, I think he's a special person. I think you're exactly right on what you say. To be an undrafted free agent who actually made it here on a tryout basis. He had a great college career, but the game's not too big for him. A lot of guys get nervous out there. The majority of guys, especially as rookies, you come into an NFL game and the pressure's on you, and especially when we're relying on him more than you would a normal rookie. Some guys get uptight. He doesn't at all. The game's not too big for him. He doesn't shy away from contact at all, even though he's one of the smaller guys out there. I mean, he tries to get after the safeties. He competes. He does everything we ask him to do, whether it's the run game or the pass game. He's a pro. It doesn't matter. He had a drop versus Pittsburgh, and he came up to me the next day and said he would never do that again on third down. And I was like, okay, but it happened. But he meant it. You know, a lot of guys talk that he really meant it, and some guys they have a drop and they kind of get smaller and they get uptight. But Gabriel's been the opposite. He wants the ball. He's confident in himself, and he wants to help his team however he can, and he's helped us a lot.
This rotating of the backs with Wilbert sending guys in. Question about the first rotation. Why did Crowell come in so early? Was that Wilbert's decision, and you knew that Crowell was going to be on the field when you saw him out there?
Yeah, no, it's something we always discuss. I mean, it's not like I'm just surprised by it out there. We had a plan going into the game. We decided throughout the week, all those guys, we based it off how they look in practice. And last week, we said if Tate was healthy, he was going to get the start. And Crowell had a good week of practice. So when he went down, we decided to put Isaiah in first. I don't know how it ended up.
The question is, why so early? Not that Crowell leapfrogged or was in the game a good bit, but
yeah.
Why on that third run of the game was it him already?
Because Tate, was it the third run?
I think so, yeah. There was a pass, run.
We had a planned pecking order going in, and Tate was going to start, and the plan going in that when Tate comes out for the first time, it was going to be Isaiah.
Kale, how has Brian Hoyer progressed from that first game to now?
I think Brian's got better each week. He did some good things in the Pittsburgh game, did some better things in New Orleans, had his best game to date or at that time versus Baltimore, and then I thought he played his best this week versus Tennessee. I think Brian's gotten more comfortable in the offense each week, and I think he's gotten more comfortable in himself. I think it goes underrated. Any player, especially a quarterback, but any position coming off an ACL takes time. So I think the farther he gets away from that, the more confident he gets. The more he plays in the offense, the more confident he gets, and the more success he has, the better he gets. So I think it's been a combination of everything, and I hope he continues to go up.
Have you learned more about him since, I mean, of course you had him in the spring and all that, but have you learned more about him through these 4 games?
Yeah, you learn everything about everybody through reps and game experience. I think they learn more about me, I learn more about them, and we continue to grow with each other every day of practice and every day throughout the year, and I feel a lot more comfortable with the guys now than I did in training camp, and hopefully in week 16 I'll feel even more comfortable than I do now.
When he makes the throws like the long one to Gabriel and the touchdown to Travis and the deep out to Travis as he gets hit, those kind of throws, do you think to yourself, this guy can do whatever I need him to do to win games?
But yeah, he showed that then, and I mean, like I always say, we'll know at the end of the year. He's got the ability to do that, and he definitely did it versus Tennessee, and I was really happy with Brian because he made a couple big-time plays there when I didn't think anything was there. And I was just hoping he didn't take a sack on one of those plays, and we ended up scoring a touchdown. It was the longest juke move I've ever seen. I was just hoping he didn't get sacked on the play, and I was freaking out about it, to tell you the truth, but he ended up scoring a touchdown, so it worked out pretty well. And those are 2 of the more impressive plays I think he's made this year.
Well, everybody's wondering about Hoyer's upside. At 28 going on 29, is he already where he's going to be? Or is that even a mystery to you, what his upside is?
I think it's a mystery to everybody because he hasn't played a lot of games. And he's played 4 this year, and I think he's gotten better in each game. And I always will say you get better or worse, and if he continues to get better each week, I think we're going to have a pretty good quarterback when it's all said and done.
How impressed by you, Ben Tate? I mean, that was the first extended action he's gotten and runs for a career high.
Yeah, I was real impressed with him. To have the first game back and to have that many yards and run the ball that well, I was impressed with him. It's what you expect out of any one of our backs, though, especially when the O-line's blocking that well. But to come out there and run hard and to get the results and to get the stats to go with it, I was happy for him because he's worked hard to come back and thought he deserved it, and he definitely helped us.
Kyle, Coach Ben has talked about not making no-huddle offensive lifestyle, but clearly in the second half last week it worked pretty well. How do you balance splicing that in versus keeping guys fresh?
I don't know if you heard this earlier, but last week it did work well, but we averaged 5.8 yards a play in no huddle and 5.8 yards a play when we huddled up. So it was pretty even. It's a feel thing. I mean, no huddle hurt us versus Baltimore and New Orleans, and it was great versus Pittsburgh the game before. So nothing's an absolute in this league. You got to mix it up all the time, and when you're doing something good, then you try not to hold the players back. You stick with it. So we'll see how it goes this week.